Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL, Milan.
Miss Walsh.
How we doing, dude?
Dude, you're doing great. I'm so proud to be your pod partner right now. Holy shit.
I tweeted in preseason, it's like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have the best FPL season of my career this season.
Yeah.
I just feel so locked in right now.
I was very concerned after the first game of the game week finished for you.
Yeah, cheeky little Dean -1.
Not how you want to start it off, but turned around.
It's funny because it's like, right, my whole thing preseason was like, I don't know shit. I'm just going to template, like, blah, 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 blah. The one punt, the one guy that like no one owned that I was like, they just have really good fixtures. I'll just go there for 2 game weeks and then deal with it. Gets 0 points combined in 2 game weeks in Dean.
Yeah.
The only non-template guy I have.
Yeah, bastards get 0 points for 2 game weeks sometimes.
He went from 5 points to -1 on the own goal. Two out of the, what would you say? 2 out of the 3 best clean sheet fixtures in the league. And he gets 0 points.
Bournemouth, home Everton.
At Bournemouth, home Everton.
Yeah, they're both good ones.
Like but, Forest is in there, but like that's it. That's the list.
Yeah, Villa's gonna do Villa things.
Yeah, so that is how it is. But we'll we go again, and I deal with them. I'll deal with them this game week, hopefully. Yeah. So
we drew our Darb today.
Yeah, 1-1. Pod Darb. Not great for me, but good, exciting game. Lot to talk about, etc. We'll get there, but first our teams. So I'll just continue with my team because I'm on 81. I'm up to 130K. You should see that on screen if you're watching on YouTube. We'll see how this shit goes. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the picks I have are pretty template. I mean, double City at the back, and Saliba gets an 11-pointer. Never bench Reece. Trips has been a god as I imagined and hoped, and he continues. The Martinelli transfer. Both of us bring in Martinelli. I get a +7. You get a +6 in the first week. Incredible. Diaz did the thing today. Captain Holland got a return. Jesus quad return. Nothing much to report. Team's looking good. All the good guys are good. And so, that's a good thing for me.
Yep. Good job by you.
Good job by me. How about you? Let me jump to your team here.
I had 70 something. What did I have? 73. Yeah. I mean, it's like similar to you. It's just the fringes that I'm off beat with are getting no points, and your fringes are getting points.
Yeah.
So I'm just like both of these 2 weeks lagging behind for like, my Ward situation and Robbo not doing the things, and then my Neto blanking both game weeks. But I'm still in really good shape. I mean, my team's in good shape. I still have this 2 mil in the bank. 740K seems fine. I just haven't gotten a couple of those extra returns from some of those guys, but I'm feeling good.
Yeah, like against what I did this week, it's not as good, but compared to the field, it's really good. Like a strong start, a fat green, you went up 1 million. The elite managers got 67.9 on average. You again beat them, with the 73. So it's just, looking good. And I think your 2 mil in the bank is going to be like a huge shift for you. Is like how you use that and how that goes.
How I fuck my team up when I use it. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, that's our teams. Let me do league updates. We got the 3 FML Field Prize League Mug League leaders for August so far. There's still 3 game weeks to go, and there's a ton of ties. But for now, first place, fucking Mars. First place in the Mug League. Absolutely flying.
Do you know what's so funny?
Olympique de Mars.
Yeah. Wow, that's insane. That's amazing. It's so funny because She doesn't talk much in Fest, and usually she has like one very like self-loathing, self-critical comment about one player on her team who like draws her ire. Yes. And that's been absent first 2 game weeks, I guess, because she's fucking storming the beaches of Normandy. Yeah. Well, that's nice to hear. But
she'll just pop in and be like, fucking blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, she's literally first place out of like hundreds of people. Second place is Andrew Baker and a bunch of other people. I'm not going to read all their names on 165. And in third place, Stacey McDonald, Timmy Coel tied for third on 164. Again, 3 game weeks to go. Long way to a mug.
Wait, you got to read the names. How many are there?
There's many names.
Is it like double digits?
It's not double digits. Okay. Andrew Baker, names. Quinn Walker Phelan, Stephen Meyer, Will Batema, Ali Fornias, Christopher, no idea that's your name, Spain Niemer, all tied for second. And I mentioned
Meyer
third
gave
place,
you some
guys.
Trouble.
Yeah. It's just Muir. Not traditional, not an Oscar Mayer there.
Not the Jewish guy.
The non-Jewish Meyer.
It could be meh.
If he's French, it's meh. If he's Nordic, it's fucking, I don't know. Who knows? And then shout out to the leader of the public league, Greg Haddon, aka Kwangya FC, up to 371st overall. So good job by you. Good start.
Cool.
Cool. I'm happy that we have a lot of new Patreons and stuff, but we have so many fucking questions, especially early season. Like, where do we even begin? There's just going to be another long, dense pod.
Long and dense.
Long and dense.
Just how I like my,
Yeah, that's what she said.
What do you want to talk about?
I guess. I don't know, man. You have anything? Do you want to start to talk about your keepers? Because a lot of people are in the Leicester shitstorm and they're not happy about it.
Chilling so hard on my keepers. I don't give a fuck what they do.
I think people literally don't hear that. People need to hear that.
I don't even think about it. Like, I don't literally think about it at all or give a fuck about what they do. They're playing. One of them is playing, and the keeper they just got, the Smithies, is third choice, 4 million. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's 2 game weeks. I mean, they're obviously diabolical, but even diabolical goalies get 125 or whatever over the course of the year. And, Arsenal and Brentham, as we're seeing Brentham playing out of their skin, are bad fixtures. So,
And sometimes diabolical goalkeepers get 15 points against Fulham, like Saw did,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, he threw the ball into his own net for one of the goals, which you don't enjoy seeing, but it's 8 million. I mean, if again, this is the same exact thing I said last week, right? If I can't, use the 2 million in my outfield and making moves to make up those, those 30-ish points that I'm throwing away by getting these 2 absolutely despicable humans, then I deserve to get worse ranks and points. And I think I will be better at doing it than not. Keeping it in my bank, not helping me much. I will say that.
For now, it's not getting you any points. But hopefully in the future points.
And I still just, Fofana's back, and, they obviously got ripped to shreds against Arsenal, but I just, whatever. It's just whatever. They're 8 million, they're playing. I don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck.
You gotta start a Marte. It's so funny that you get Fofana and Evans back and he just wedges a Marte in there to play.
He finds a way to keep playing a Marte. It's insane.
So that was Cambia strike and Bellboy's question. Like, do we admit that the Leicester thing was a fail and fix it, or is it not worth the transfer? I mean, I don't know where I'd be if I had him, but I probably also wouldn't use the transfer. I think I tend to agree with Walsh there. X50 said, we're a couple of games in now. Which of the 4-5 keepers are standing out? Raya has great fixtures. Sanchez plays for Brighton. Hendo looks like he could be the new Baps master. Owen said, is Dean Hendo the best keeper option? If so, when should we bring him in? And Raya said, if you're going to bring in a 4-5, whomst would it be? Hendo's catching a lot of eyes with the haul, but they also should have conceded like 3. So
at least
I'm not that sold, despite he has the high floor because he's always going to get a lot of saves, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you're buying, right? Are the saves, but right, saving a pen. I mean, forget it, right? They should not have kept it clean at all. I don't mind the Hendo shout, but I think Guaita should be mentioned here, honestly. It seems like
Yep.
He's just picking up where he left off, and we have some better fixtures coming up. We got a couple tough ones out of the way. Doesn't seem like Johnstone's going to be playing anytime soon, or taking his spot this season. Really, it looks like, unless if Guaita gets injured. But I think that's an interesting one. And Raya, right? I mean, Brent Hammer playing really well.
And they have insane fixtures.
Yeah, and they have a really good run. So he would probably be like the chalk pick. I'm never going to recommend Bob Monster to anybody.
But he's fine.
I would probably go with Raya if I had to. If I was making this move and I was like, I'm getting a 4-5 guy right now, it would probably be Raya. Yeah,
I think I'm with you there too. I mean, they're just such a better team. He's really good on bones, just underlying like pass completion, like sweeper keeper shit. And they have at Fulham, home Everton, at Palace, home Leeds, at Southampton. Like, get in there. When you don't have to look that far in advance if you're making a keeper move, because again, we're going to wild card pretty soon. Probably within a month from now. So a short, good run is something to build a dream on. I think it's great. But there's also a lot of like the premium. Ederson's been donging. I still think Rammers is a pretty good pick. Still think Mendy is a good pick. They also have an insane run. Pope getting Max Bones in a 0-0. Like, there's so many good picks at every position in the game this season in FPL, which is like very usually not the case.
Yeah. Which is why you should have the absolute worst pick in
the worst pick.
Allen Iverson and Charlie Ward.
You think Iverson starts this week? After that fucking performance?
No chance.
Yeah. Let's maybe jump to Chelsea.
Sure.
Aforementioned really good run. They're at Leeds, home Leicester, at Southampton, home West Ham, at Fulham. Crazy run. A lot of people looking at Cucurella. J-Dong said, what would you want to see from Cucurella to make him into a legit pick? Penga said, is there a clear winner between Reece and Cucurella? If you already have one, is it best to just stick with who you have? And Palm and Frankenstein said, can you talk about the double Chelsea defense with Cucurella? Is it too soon to put more eggs in that basket?
I can't believe there's still people out there trying to craft reasons why Reece is not the most inevitable.
But it's not just Reece. There's Cancelo questions. Like, can we go Cancelo to Walker? I understand the desire to like find money, but these are not the guys to do it.
The answer is Iverson Award.
Yeah, actually. The Iversons get 30 less points than everyone else in one position, so you can get, fucking Martinelli from Bailey, I mean, yeah, it's just, you never bench Reece. You just never bench Reece. He's such a fucking cheat code in FPL. It just doesn't matter. Like, that was, of every fixture, of any fucking fixture all season, that was the most nailed fixture for him to play center back. Just on that side against Son. Cucurella just got there. They haven't like tried Koulibaly on the right. They haven't tried anything else yet. He plays center back. He still could have gotten like 1 or 2 assists. Still gets a fucking best chance of the game, open play in the box shots. Like you never get rid of him. You never sit him. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, he subs into the wingback spot, right? And he gets the goal and shit. That's always going to be a shout. Let's get into Cucurella though. I think I'm sure we're both on the same page. We don't really need to see more. But
I don't need to see more.
Yeah, what are you seeing from him as a pick? Like buying him this week, looking at him medium term. What do you think?
I mean, I think you can buy very confidently this week. I know some people are worried that it's going to be like a Chilwell Cucurella rotation. Like, you don't break the fucking budget to buy Cucurella and then just rotate him with Chilwell. It's not a thing that happens. I mean, I think he'll get some starts at wingback. He'll get some starts at left-sided center back. He's going to be a monster on bones in both. He's shown in 100 total minutes what he can do attacking-wise when he's on wingback. He was also on set pieces because a lot of it's because Reece was at center back. But even if they're both at wingbacks, could see Cucurella taking the left-sided corners, Reece taking the right-sided corners. He took 4 corners against Spurs. I just think he's like a very, very good pick. Like probably the best 5-0 pick in the game right now with their upcoming run.
Yeah, I agree with you. Nothing to add.
Yeah, and the defense looks fucking great.
They're still playing with extra and all of the defenders.
And they conceded no actual goals against Spurs. So
yeah. no real chances and no goals. So it's good.
Back-to-back cleans. So
In our world.
game. Chelsea attackers a little more in flux. Ritzy D said, what do we make of Chelsea and their attackers and Mount specifically? It feels like the $8 million for Mount could be better spent, but the fixtures are good. Chuck Norwich, Wolfgang Jones, Skim, all saying, have you seen anything from Chelsea that makes you think Mount is a good hold with the upcoming fixtures? So you obviously transferred Mount out. I think Martinelli is like clearly better than any of the 8 billion mids in the game. But if you already have Martinelli, what do you do with Mount?
I don't think transferring out before Leeds makes that much sense, or Southampton or Leicester. I mean, I think you sort of are stuck with, and this is what we talked about, right? Holding him for these three. I think, I was asking someone, I think French Toast or someone on Discord pulled it, but I was like, what are his actual Mount's returns against like top 4, top 6? I think he has like 4 returns in like 26 games or something of that great nature. So I mean, Mount legitimately is just like you bench him when they play good teams.
Yeah.
You can do that. But when they play bad teams is when he fills his boots. And we did see that last season. He had a few games where he like fucking hauled ass, right? Yeah. That Norwich game where he had like 5 returns or something. And,
monster.
He was able to tick along, he had a good season last year, but, I think, he's definitely someone against the lower, worse defenses that can get points, but we haven't seen it with this front with Sterling. So, there's still that uncertainty. I think the bigger thing is that there aren't so many like, yes, this is a definite better pick in this price region other than Martinelli. So I think it's more like you're holding because there's nowhere else to go. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, you can make a case for Kulu and Saka and Mato and Diaz and Foden, all the same guys we've been talking about since preseason. But other than, again, I just echoing exactly what you said, other than Martinelli, I don't think any are a clear upgrade, and none have the fixtures that Mount has. Not even Saka. Maybe Saka, but like,
What about Mato? Maybe are we?
I think Mato's a good pick, but they're. They have at Chelsea in 2 game weeks, and the team is so fucked up. It's
He's
just
playing out of position.
He is playing out of position. I like that a lot. I just, Chelsea, we always think of them as like not an elite attacking team just because they're not really on like the City and Liverpool level. But like you mentioned the Norwich game, like there was also 6-0 against Southampton. They fuck teams up. They're really good, and their attack has only gotten better from last season, like significantly better with Raz. So I still expect them to just like beat the shit out of all the bad teams because that's what good teams do. And it's a thing that I always say is like the good teams are just way more predictably gonna beat the shit out of bad teams.
Yeah,
I mean it's like. It's obvious, but people don't think about it that much. Like Leicester could like 1-1 Southampton and no one would be like, oh my God, I can't believe Mato didn't return home Southampton. Yeah. But like Chelsea at Leeds, I'm like, yeah, they're probably scoring 3+. Like, Chelsea at home Leicester, probably 3+. Out Southampton, probably 3+. You can't say that about Leicester.
Yeah.
So that's what I like.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Well, what about Raz?
Yeah, I mean,
is that too much of a punt to throw out good picks to jam Raz in, like thinking he's going to get huge hauls, or is that?
Yeah, it's just like, how do you get there?
Yeah. Well, forget about how to get there. Let's just talk about him as like a 10 million pick. Like, what do you see?
I think he's a better pick than Mount or Kai, like easily. Yeah. Like again, like my preseason thoughts on Raz were like I expect him to score 20 goals this season, and through 2 games, I just still think that's going to be true. I mean, against Spurs, 9 touches in the box, an assist, like good XG, good XA, like just a fucking monster. That this is just. He's not old yet. He's still just like in his prime elite player. Yeah. Getting on the ball in the box nonstop. He missed that one chance, but it's against Spurs. It's a hard game. So, I still think he has hat trick potential. Mount and Kai don't really have anything close to that. So, if you had some, I can't really imagine the team that can like easily get to Raz, but if it's out there, I think it's a fucking amazing pick. I mean, that's as high upside a pick as you can get, really, I think, for like a differential.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Like Sun to Raz. Like, I guess people have like, three premiums, but Sun has Wolves, Forest, West Ham, Fulham. So it's
I know, yeah, I don't know how that's good. It's just like he's gonna have like periods this year where he plays 4 games and scores like 55 points or something.
That's just a fact.
Yeah, that's just based on what his role is and the minutes they're giving him. I mean, the thing that's really difficult with Raz, I've been finding myself like hard to update myself with, is we've been so used to him for so many years with the same negative, like, is he going to start? And like, we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm having a hard time like updating my brain when I'm looking at him as a pick, is like, well, he's always been more than 10 million when he's at City. And he's always like outperformed or been worth it basically all the time. And now that he is 10 million, he's in 0 teams.
Yeah.
Like, why is Son in teams for 2 million more? He's basically just like a worse version of Raz, or like he's done what Raz has been doing for less.
In these 2 million less. Yeah. I guess like I was also thinking while you were talking, like there's teams out there with like double 8 million mids, right? Like 1 to Martinelli and 1 to Raz is just like jizz. Like that's the best thing ever,
Yeah, I mean, like I could turn Neto into him if I get rid of Robbo, which I don't think is like a good idea, but I'm not that far away.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna do the like high upside chasing, late riser before we wildcard type of style, which I think is very viable, good way to play the game, then Raz would be like one of the top names on my list. Like if I was wildcarding, especially with Darwin red now, I would definitely be trying to like find a way to go 3 premium with that, with the enablers that we think are probably good now,
Yeah.
And obviously the worst keepers in the game to help you get there.
Yeah, of course we got to do that. Yeah, I mean it's Raz is definitely, the Hall person in this team.
Yes.
Just watching them, if they are flowing and they're playing a bad team and they're creating shit like Raz, it's just not really possible for them to create goals without him at least getting the assist or the goal.
Yeah.
Generally. So yeah, he's definitely good. But Mount's Mount's like,
he's good. He's going to be
peripheral.
Good.
Yeah, he's going to get his points, but it's just watching them play and watching how peripheral he is, and like it doesn't bring much, confidence, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see like, in these games where they're just like, pushing everyone forward, looking for 2, 3, 4 goals or whatever. We'll see. I'm very, very curious, like, to watch them against the bad teams. And I'm just so high on this attack in general, like the 3 individuals.
Right.
So, and of course the wingbacks are great too. So it's like sort of like an elite front 5. We just haven't really seen them like fully click yet. So that'll be really interesting.
Yeah.
Where to next? Should we just jump to Liverpool? I mentioned Darwin.
Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about your dumb team.
Yeah.
Can't win a game.
Yeah, relegation contender. We got a ton of questions about the defense after, conceding goals in the first 2. Gibran said, what would you do if you're on Trent and Robbo? There's no Matip, no Konate, no Gomez, Hendo and Thiago absent as well, affecting the solidity in front of a depleted back line. Picks like Walker and Cucurella offer better value and look much better defensively. Bowski, Josh, Smith, Elron, all. What the fuck do you do with Robbo? Is 2 games really enough to come to the conclusion that the Robbo pick was worse than Diaz? And then Psycho Mike said Robbo to James. Is that the obvious move of the week? And for those of us dumb enough to have that set up, to not have Reece, basically. What do you think about Robbo? I'm not.
I was hoping to ask you because I'm not seeing this clearly. As I like the first question, what would you do if hi, I'm right here? Yes, that is me. How are you seeing?
You got to pay attention to the fitness, I guess, this week a lot, but we didn't really know anything going into this game. Klopp was like, it seemed like there was a witch in the dressing room, like everyone got hurt every day of the week. So, all of that was a surprise. I think if we knew Nat Phillips was starting game week 2, people wouldn't have gone Trent Robbo in game week 1, But, the fixtures are still unbelievable. At Man United, home Bournemouth, home Newcastle, at Everton, home Wolves, they're still going to keep cleans, they're still going to be really good. If anything, I think today was just like a reminder of how good Liverpool are, even though it ended in a draw. It was just like the dominance in the first, 40 minutes or whatever was like incredible. And, the thing that Layriser asked me in that preseason pod about like Robbo getting into the box more with Diaz. I kind of was like, I don't know, if there's anything. It's happening. It's happening every game. Like Robbo's just underlapping into the box and Diaz is the wide man when they're on the pitch together. So, I mean, that's good. Like there were moments in this game where he was the furthest forward and most central player on Liverpool getting the ball in the box.
Yeah. And he's still taking the corners and shit.
Obviously the early sub, but it was a weird game and, they had to push everyone forward and, I wouldn't read too much into that. And Tsimikas was also awful.
God, every fucking ball he played was just like out of bounds or something.
So bad. And everyone was like,
why did he get subbed? Like, was he gassed or what is he carrying something? Like that was bizarre to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just 5 subs and like how, there's a few guys that are definitely not coming off, and it was just just trying to inject something, and like obviously
he hooked him early. It was 60.
The crosses were bad, but the fact that Tsimikas was just getting there over and over was like the good part. You know what I mean? You can't predict he's gonna have like a horrible game and every cross is gonna be bad.
But I'm more of like, why is that a thing he's thinking of doing is concerning to me. Like, because I have all these extra subs. Like, I'm going to take Robbo off for Shimcast because
I think it's just fresh legs and, I wouldn't read into it. It didn't seem like he was injured or holding anything or, whatever. So that's what I thought. But I still think Robbo's a great pick. But as you mentioned, I also think it's totally fine to go to these other amazing 5 million picks, which is why I didn't start game week 1 with Robbo, because there's so many godly 5-0s.
Yeah, that is more Robbo's going to get his points as the season continues. He does every year, as long as he's fit, and Liverpool are going to keep their fair share of cleans as they do every year. It is, I think you're looking at it more in comparison. Like, is he that much better? Like, is he 2 million better than like Cucurella? It's like, there's just probably not.
There's not really a way you can't.
Yeah, there's not really a world to say that.
Yeah, if a million is worth like half a point or even a full point, I don't really know the math on that, but somewhere in that region, you're like, there's just no way that he's going to outscore Cucurella by like 60 points in the end of the season.
Assuming fitness, right? Yeah.
Yeah, assuming fitness. There's no fucking way in a points per game, thing with Chelsea having as good, if not better fixtures. There's no way, So, I think it's very team dependent, but if you have a good place to spend the money and upgrade a spot and, go for someone that you really like and get rid of a bad player, I think Robbo is very expendable.
Yeah, I agree with you. Still a great pick, very expendable.
Yeah, Trent was just a god, like I wouldn't go there.
Yeah, no, that's a step too far because he's a different level. But, it's back to that question, right? Like doing Robbo to Reece, if that million gets you a good upgrade, like, just do it.
I would absolutely do it. Yeah, like people still have Bailey.
Yeah.
There are really bad picks in the game that people own that you have to deal with, so like totally. make the money and make your team better. And then the only other question we got on Liverpool was X50 said, is the Darwin ban good or bad for Mo and Diaz? Could we see Mo playing as the 9 with Harvey on the right? I don't know.
I mean, he's like never played Mo. It's been like years since
the only time I can really,
experiment. It was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was Shaqiri in the team in a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah,
that's like the only time when it was
no
like
one was fit or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of Mo playing up top, I don't believe that's going to happen. But I think it's kind of silly, I think, to try and create this narrative of like it's better or worse. Like he's played 20 minutes together. It's like whatever. We know that Mo's good when he's playing on like period, right?
Yeah.
Bigger concern is who is actually fit. Like who the fuck is playing?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be like Harvey or Carvalho, I would assume.
What's wrong with Bob?
He just had a knock or something. He wasn't on the bench. Wasn't in the squad.
I mean, maybe they do everything they can to get him in there.
Yeah, I mean in the like preseason gambling pod I guessed it on Wonder Goal. We were kind of like talking about Liverpool, and one of the guys was like, well, if Liverpool stay fit, they're going to get the over on their points. If they don't, they're probably going to be in and around there. And it's like, holy shit, like 3 center backs hurt, all three forwards are hurt. Like, fuck, what the hell just happened? This week was just like a punch in the face.
Well, Darwin didn't get hurt. He took himself out.
He took himself out. Yeah, Thiago and Hendo hurt. Just like, Jesus, fuck. But yeah,
Hendo's hurt.
Yeah, he didn't start and was knocked also. He subbed on, but he had a knock. That's why he didn't start. Yeah, Milner started.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Liverpool. Just running through the fucking teams right now. Arsenal got a bunch of questions. Also on the defense, X50 again. He said, do we want a piece of the Arsenal defense, even with them conceding 2 against Leicester? And if we do, is Zinchenko worth the extra cash over Saliba? And then Sutton said, I want to jump on an Arsenal defender for this run. Are any of the 4-5 safer starts? Saliba, White, and Tomiyasu. So yeah, Arsenal have at Bournemouth, home Fulham, home Villa, at Man United, home Everton. Next 5. Insane.
Yeah.
Who do you like?
Well, Zinchenko's pretty obvious in terms of, the defensive options. He's getting in good positions and doing good bonus point things. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like completely secure of like the Saliba, White, Tomiyasu situation. Tomiyasu subbing on last game. It wouldn't be insane to me that he gives Saliba like some, manages him a little bit, right? I mean, he's so brand new, just got here. He's 22 or whatever, right?
Yep.
I feel like Ben White's he's not like the sexy pick, but he's kind of like safer to me than Saliba.
And he has the versatility of right back.
Yeah. As I don't imagine that there's any world where the White is healthy and dropped and Saliba's playing and Tomiyasu's playing right back. Like that doesn't seem like that's reasonable to me. Do you see it the same way? Or
I think so. I'd be curious to ask Nate. I wouldn't be shocked if Nate was just like, no, Saliba's like 100% first choice and just like he's just so much better. Yeah, like that wouldn't surprise me if that's what an Arsenal fan said. But I do think Zinchenko's worth it. I mean, the above average guys who love their bonus points were tweeting like live in that game before Leicester scored their second, and there were 4 goals. Zinchenko had no attacking contributions, no clean, and he was on for a bone. He's just that kind of guy. Like it seems that like all the bonus shit he did at City is carrying over, and he's just gonna be a god. So yeah, I like that.
Okay. But yeah, it's certainly with that run, right? I mean, any of them are great. They'll keep picks. A few cleans. They're just going to be solid there for sure.
Yeah. Arsenal having a fucking hell of a start to the season. Yeah. And a couple Saka questions. RB said, Saka feels a bit more peripheral. Is it worth a -4 to get off Saka for the next best? And then grossly incompetent Noka said, what are your thoughts on Saka to Martinelli? In my case, this would take White to a 6'3"-ish defender like Reece James.
I mean, that is the easiest transfer you could ever make. I think doing Saka to
so much better, right?
Yeah, he's just strictly better with the 2 million or 1.8 now, but it's just that's not even close. If that's the best way that you can get to him, mind you, because I don't think Saka's suddenly like a bad option, even though he's got kind of that was like a flukier assist, right? Was that on the own goal? Or
it was an own goal, yeah.
And then he was pretty quiet against Leicester, right? They were doing most of the shit down the left, but he's still a really good player, and they still have really good fixtures. So, I don't know if that's, I would rather have Martinelli. And I think then instead of, I mean, if there's a time to do that, it's now, with these few games coming up. Martinelli's great.
Yeah. I mean, Nate and I were talking about this a little bit in Discord, and Nate sent me like a screenshot of like a heat map thing. It's just like everything is happening on the left. Like Jesus is drifting left, Zinchenko's pushing up, Xhaka's pushing up, Martinelli's like the center of all the stuff happening on the left, and Saka's just like so isolated. So, I don't know if it's going to persist. It seems weird that like Odegaard and Saka just aren't really getting anything going in these attacks. Maybe teams will overcorrect and like load up defensively on that side or, whatever. I agree with you. I mean, like you look at those fixtures and I'm not like, I got to sell Saka. But yeah, between the two of them with the savings, Martinelli's just such a better pick.
Yeah.
I still expect Saka to get points, and he's still, as far as we know, on pens.
Yeah. If they ever get one, we'll find out.
They'll get a pen. They'll get a cheeky pen.
I'll get one eventually.
They'll get one eventually. Another team, obviously, Man City. I feel like we talk about them every episode. Just a bunch of random questions. Dean Naylor said last week you had said to wait one more week on Jack. I assume we can safely jack him off the team. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's just not worth the headache, the minutes concern. You just can't really carry a pick on your team, I think, in this way, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's sad, but that's just how Pep City is, you know?
Yeah.
Hardly Boy said, can you re-rank the City midfielders now that you have 2 weeks of data for what their roles will be? So what do you see from like Foden and Kev?
I mean, Kev is, what we thought he was. Obviously, he's going to be just shitting points all season.
He almost doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 12 million for a reason. I mean, Foden, he just does my head in, honestly. I mean, watching them play, it's like he does the easy things, makes it look difficult. The hard things is like, well, how did you do that? I don't know, Yeah, I mean, getting ripped off at halftime is obviously not something you want to ever see from your player. Pep's going to just be managing minutes of all the people like game to game, just like the psychopath that he is. He's just going to be doing mad shit all the time. And, if you're buying a ticket to this show, then you just have to be prepared for literally anything can happen. What we do know, I think, is though, like Foden is obviously first choice across the front three somewhere, with Haaland. And, that other spot is more suspect, right? So it's going to be Mahrez, it's going to be Alvarez, it's going to be Grealish, it's going to be fucking Bilv, don't know, right?
Yeah.
I think the most interesting one is probably Gundo, wearing the captain's armband both the first two games, right? And yes, he got subbed early both the two games. Probably should expect that because he's not, very young and, they don't have a lot of depth.
And he's very injury prone. Yeah.
And Calv is surprise, shock, horror, unavailable after playing 1 minute, fucking made of glass, worthless. Gundo is interesting though, right?
Very interesting. I mean, after West Ham, we were kind of like, was that just a weird fucking West Ham tactic? We don't really know what to expect, yada, yada, yada. Then after Bournemouth, it's like, okay, Gundo's getting really far forward in the box, getting a huge chance again. It's like, it's becoming more and more interesting match by match for 7-5. And yeah, I think like you said, obviously he's not playing 90, but he does seem more secure for starts at the moment. He's not going to play every game. Bill's going to get games. He's probably going to get hurt at some point, whatever. But for now, he seems very interesting. Would you put him ahead of Foden if you're ranking?
No.
Probably not, right? Yeah.
I would not do that.
Foden is just also like, you got to pass the ball to Haaland, man.
Yeah.
Did you see the shit they asked Pep about that in the post game?
Yeah, I saw.
He's just distraught. And he's like, you got to pass the ball,
No, yeah, I mean, that was just one of those.
So that was Sek Ortiz's question about Gundo. John said Kev looks good as a provider for Haaland, but also looks like he's still going to shoot if he gets his space. Is he the better option of the two, as he will have assists and goals? And then RB and Sfeen said, is he a better option than Mo? Gives us an extra $1 million. So people going Mo to Kev, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he's a better pick than Haaland. I was saying that preseason pretty emphatically, right? And nothing's changed there. Again, what changes is when you look at the percentages of points and like how much do I think that. I mean, I'm not willing to like switch them, and stake my entire like season basically on that decision. But Kevin's just he's in more teams now for sure, and he's almost up to 20%.
Yeah.
But Haaland again though this game right should have had a double return. I mean that would have been
minimum.
That would have been a 6 or a 7 point goal, and he still looks just really good. They're both great.
Yeah, and the Foden
hairs.
goal. When I was watching back, the Foden goal, dude, like Travers got a fucking hand on that. That was like
it almost went right. Yeah,
it was like dribbling, like perfect. Yeah. Like he could have had a fucking triple.
If it was
return.
A little firmer, it would have went right into his path, and he
right into his path.
Yeah.
And then obviously the tap in that wasn't tapped, and then he had that other decent chance from Jack before coming up. I mean, yeah, it's just like I still feel so confident in capping Haaland and like the bankers. So
yeah, totally agree.
I'm not no need to go there. But yeah, Kev, great pick.
And Mo, I mean, getting rid of Mo is insane to go to Kev, I think.
Yeah, it's still just bonkers. And then Jeff said, is City D besides Cancelo worth a spot in our teams? They don't seem to likely to pull bonus most matches, but there are great options. And there are great options like Zinchenko and Cucurella at the 5-ish point. I mean, what are you, Walker curious, Ake curious? Like, did this game change anything for you? Or
no, I mean, I don't think it, again, it's you have to look at them in the context of the game and the other players, right? And it is frustrating that, it's sort of a 6-point ceiling. I mean, Ake, sure, he's got the occasional goal, but, he's a center back. So, are you going to get, the 1 or 2 that he does do, when he's in your team, who knows?
Yeah.
But, looking across the game, like trips, right? Like in good runs, like I'd rather have him than, Walker or Diaz, because he could get 2 games worth of points in one. And, Walker and Ake and Diaz really, well, I guess Diaz is a little bit attacking, but like they really can't, right? So, it's just, they're all really good picks. I think you're sort of splitting hairs. You're like, which is the best of these really good picks? But I do think like getting Zinchenko or Cucurella or these guys who have these like assist bonus 12 point, like it's just good.
Better, right?
And even though the floor isn't as high because their clean sheet odds are always going to be a little bit lower than City, they're still fucking high. Like Chelsea still keep a shit ton of cleans.
Yep. Arsenal on this run going to keep a shit ton of cleans, hopefully. Yeah.
So you don't have to spike, the attacking returns that much, knowing that they're going to be coming with bonus points to really far outpace, I think, those City picks.
Yep.
Looking at how it is right now, but it's still tough because it's, who are you buying, holding, selling? I'm still not selling any of these picks. Like I have these guys, you're just holding them. But like I'm looking at trips. Like I'm not sure if I'm going to keep trips.
Yeah.
And I would rather have Cucurella than Ake.
Yeah.
Right now.
And in hindsight, again, like, it's easy, obviously, in hindsight, but like, again, this is why I went Ederson and not Walker. There's so many defenders I want, right? It's the same thing as like the Robbo thing. It's like, no, I want Trips in this good run. I want now I want Cucurella. Now I want Zinchenko, so it's just like, is what it is.
Yeah.
We got some Brentford questions because the Bees are just buzzing, and they have at Fulham, home Everton, at Palace, home Leeds, at Southampton. Part of their amazing run. RB said Brentford fixtures look good. Bailey is not good. Thoughts on a Bailey to Brentford move? If so, who?
Well, I don't like any of the mids that much. I think really Toney and Mbeumo are the only good FPL assets there. I mean, Toney's 17 points. Good, really good start for him.
Flying.
It's just watching him is so frustrating because he's basically like out of position, like reverse out of position.
Yeah.
Watch, like he just really doesn't strike. He provides. I mean, he just creates. He doesn't even really like take shots. Like unless
you can't. It's like it's good in real life and bad in fantasy.
Yeah,
right. Because it's like their system's so good, they play so smart. Frank is such a good manager that he wouldn't accept a fucking Cristiano Ronaldo who like doesn't run and doesn't link and can't do anything. So Toney has to be able to do all this stuff, and he's so good. But yeah, he had one shot in the best fixture in the fucking world, home Man United, and he had 2 shots against Leicester in a game where they were behind the entire game. It's just like not great.
Yeah, and the assists, the chance creation. I mean, it was there last year, and he only got 5 assists. He was definitely good for more than that. He has pens. He's 7-1 now. He just rose, right? So he's still a good FPL pick. It's just it's just frustrating. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just frustrating.
Like
he's a frustrating player. You hold him, like, of course. This run is crazy.
Confidently.
Very confidently.
And he's better than probably every 8 million mid. Everyone's obsessed still with the 8 million mid spot. Yeah. He's $1 million cheaper, and he's just going to tick all season, So, and the Bees are fine, man. The Bees who are in like relegation betting odds, in the preseason are fucking fine. But also, I think the Man United fixture is just like, we have to treat it like they played against like Bielsa Leeds at this point. Yeah, well, it's like what was, it's like, it doesn't even count fixture. Almost.
Yeah, it's an easy fixture. And, they did not fundamentally function for that first half until he just made all the subs and put all the attackers on, and they just scored 2 against Leicester. So, those are definitely, there's some little concerns there. But I still think they bought incredibly. We've been talking about that, how well they bought. And, the other thing with Frank that we're seeing is like, he's just using his subs so intelligently. And he so has good. The fact that he has this like 3 at the back, 4-3-3 kind of, that he was doing that last season. And they do have a lot of new players and he's betting some of them in, but the fact that he has that, the players used to playing in those different formations, he has so much flexibility in game in the second halves to change the game and, to just use those subs to change and adjust to how he's seeing it. Toney's never going to be subbed off. So you can always guarantee that he's going to be there from minute 1 to 90. And, if Frank, takes Wissa off and puts Lewis Potter and does fucking De Silva here, takes De Silva, right?
Hito Turkoglu,
Yeah, Hito Turkoglu, De Sarvish, Dervis Koglu, whatever the Turkish dude, like, whatever the fuck's going on, right? Toney's going to be on the pitch. And with Pence, like he's just a steady, solid pick. And he should be in more teams for sure.
Yeah, he should be. Yep.
But I feel like this is also like, we're not getting him.
Yes. I mean, I'm just I feel a little bit stuck, right? Because I'm sitting here and I think a lot of people have a similar structure as me with Haaland, Jesus, who are going absolutely nowhere, nothing in the bank. My third forward's Archer, right? So I need to find 3 million.
Well, where do you put Toney in this landscape of the mids?
Yeah, I mean, I do think he's better than the 8 million mids.
Yeah. Well, what about Diaz? You have Diaz.
Yeah, but I'm not like, that's the thing, right? I'm not going to like go Diaz out, Toney in for a hit. Diaz is still nailed on Liverpool, way better attack. His goal today was fucking insane, but he's not going to do that every week, but he's still going to get points. It's just like, doesn't seem worth a hit to me. It could be, it could end up being worth a hit for sure. But it just doesn't seem that worth it to me. A lot of people rolled their transfer. Someone like you with 2 million in the bank, like you could get there. But like for me, I'm just like, what am I doing that move?
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah,
he's hurt me so bad, dude. Last year,
Toney.
Yeah,
it was kind of painful.
It was really bad.
Yeah. I mean, Mbeumo also hurt us, but he's looking good.
He was He was only 5'5" last year, but
6 million forward, looking good. I mean, he's a solid pick too. And Warren was asking about Rico Henry. He said attacking fullback. Brentham looked good with great fixtures. Startable 4-5, or is a safer option like Dunk the move? I mean, seems solid. Seems like a decent pick to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like him
personally.
And I don't think he's good. I like Hickey a lot, but I think Dunk or Saliba or White or whatever. I think there are plenty of other 4-5s I would rather have than Henry. I don't know. I mean, I'm still not sold on like Brentford, keeping cleans in general.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah,
because they're
not a great defensive team.
Yeah,
Definitely
I mean, is an upgrade. I mean, right? It's really good to have him in. I mean, they still have these injuries with Pinnock and Ayer out, but I just, they're good. They're solid. But I think when you're looking at a 4-5 defender, like on Arsenal,
yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not getting the Brentford one just because he's like a little bit attacking. I don't know.
Yeah. I think I'm with you there. Yeah, so we kind of answered Balsi's question. We kind of answered Sides' question. So that's it for Brentham. And we might take a further look into Brentham tomorrow for the Patreon subscribers. Oh, cheeky little tit by me. And then the last, kind of like bigger topic before just like, the random question section of every episode is sort of that budget mid spot, the Neto Bailey game week 1 spot. A lot of people are there. A lot of people have 2 guys in that range. A lot of people don't know what the fuck to do. So let me just rattle off some questions here. We got Simple Mug. He said, most players have at least one of Neto and Bailey. There's a lot of focus on the bottom of the barrel mids due to people either already owning or having been priced out of Martinelli. What is it realistically we should be expecting and looking for with options in this 5 to 5-5 region? And are there any players whatsoever in this bracket that you think would be fine picks for the short term? Psst, the answer is still Saka. I don't know if you saw his Saka video, but it was amazing. Sonnet said, Bailey out for De Silva or Dewsbury Hall. De Silva upside gives me 0.4 in the bank. Great fixtures. KDH the same minus Chelsea. They both have some questionable game time so far. And Jabron said, what do I do with Neto? First 2 games blank. Spurs and Newcastle next 2. I already have Martinelli. EB, should we fuck off Neto? Al, sort of finish it off. He said, with Nico and Andreas looking good as fieldable options, is it best to just have them rotate for the 11th man spot and put the money elsewhere? So I mean, you're on fucking Neto. I already got rid of Bailey. Like, what are you looking at here?
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating with Neto, right? I mean, both games he could have had returns in either easily, right? I mean, he really fucked his shit up in Fulham. I mean, he had one look ridiculous, and then Leeds,
open net,
more assists and goal and shit. But I mean, I still think Neto's like basically everything you would want in a 5-5 mid in the game. I mean, he's nailed. He's arguably their best attacker, best player, maybe whatever, right? I mean, he's really good. He just fucks up in the final third. He just can't finish his dinner. It's really fucking annoying and frustrating watching him, because any of the 6 good attacking actions they have throughout the 90 minutes, this team, he's central to it all. But it comes back again to, I mean, I think how patient are you willing to be, because this is not going to be prolific. He's not going to be banging in all of these returns in this consistent stream. I mean, he does have issues in front of goal. I mean, it's not like this is a player who scored 12 before. He's fucking 5 goals last.
Yep.
When he was good, he had 5 goals in 2,500 minutes. That's not a lot. And we're kind of hoping that he just is better or just gets better. They're not playing 3 center backs. They're just more attacking, more. And it's hard to see them in just 2 games. I think with 4 at the back, they're obviously countering more, but they still look bad. I mean, they look like they should just, they have moments or periods in games, but they're still kind of disjointed and bad players. I mean, Podence is bad and Hwang is really bad, and Guedes, the new guy they got, is basically him. And that's not what they need. So he doesn't have anyone to pass to, and he kind of sucks at scoring goals by himself. So it's tough to see where the FPL points come from, but when you watch the games, it's like, wow, he's great. He's doing he's countering, he plays the right ball, he's there, he's here, he's fucking whatever, but I don't know. I mean, it's really frustrating to watch and own him. But when you're looking at him, like, right, there's Aribo, who like doesn't start every game, or fucking like De Silva, who's not nailed, or Grob, who, got a rebound goal and another thing. And then who knows? He could also just be dropped in the game. Yeah, he's on Brighton. Similar, just like Wolves, same problem. Like, don't score a goal. So you look around and just like, well, there aren't any. Dewsbury Hall's. He's playing in an FPL position now, but when Barnes comes back, he's going to be drop back, and he's not a long-term pick. So, I mean, it's just there aren't any good picks here, really. I think so. I feel like Neto is still, despite all of his issues, better than them all, even though he has no points.
I 1,000,000% agree.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those moments where you need to like bin your emotions and just put it to the side, because the strategic pick of Neto went well in terms of, like, again, everything you said, like, what did you realistically want to see from him? You're seeing all of it. He's even taking some corners, like he's looking, really attacking, like it's all there. They sell Cody, they buy another box-to-box mid, like they're sticking with the 4-3-3. So that shit is all there. I think you just hold, like, ideally you bench him versus Spurs, maybe you got Pereira, you got Nico in, whoever you have. But I don't think that Neto and Bailey are the same, like, category at all. I think Bailey, like, he didn't even fucking start. Like, he's an emergency get rid. If Villa can't score, Villa have nightmare fixtures. Like, again, Wolves have at Spurs, but then, home Newcastle just got fucking obliterated by Brighton. It's not like they're playing fucking City. That's like a game where you can still score goals. And then they have good fixtures after that as well. So yeah, I agree with you. I think Neto's still a hold. And I think just like reflecting back on where we were in game week 1, I mean, so one of the reasons that you went Neto over Bailey, and I think it was a good one, was because like the bet was on not just Neto, but it's like so much. There's so many more 5-5s that could be good. It's almost like the bet was on the 5-5 slot more than it was on Neto, because you could just get someone else if someone else is like outstanding and Neto's horrible or something. Bailey, on the other hand, if you had no money in the bank, luckily I did. There's no moves. Like, there's no one to get. They're all bad. They're all DMs or box-to-box mids who aren't going to score points, and it's just like a nightmare. So, and we mentioned it right on preseason. It was like, even if Bailey pops off the first 2 game weeks, like, do you hold? Like, are you holding for at Palace, home West? Well, home West Ham might be good now. At Arsenal, home City. Like, it's still like an emergency. So, that's tough for people in the spot. But yeah, I mean, who do you like who is cheap that people could maybe get to from Bailey?
Well, I think Eze is worth considering pretty seriously. We still have City game week 4, but
That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, but he's clearly going to be getting assists this season. He's on set pieces, and he's at 5-5 spot. He's going to be playing that that roaming 8, getting forward a lot, and he's looked really good through 2 games. He looks back to how he was 2 seasons ago. So I think he's someone to consider. I like him, I think, more than Grob. To me,
I still like Grob.
I feel like they are very similar in kind of what they do for their teams. I just feel like Eze is, just a better player. I just think he's better. He's just a better player. And I think we are better than Brighton. We create more and we play more attacking. We just haven't seen it because of our fixtures so far. That I just feel like there's a lot more projectability with Eze than there is with Grob. Something like a 6 and 9 season from Eze isn't like unfathomable to me. I don't really like anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, Grob, we don't 100% know, but I think and suspect that he will be on pen. So that already just makes him like, okay, is he going to get 3-4 free goals this year? Like, that's fucking gigantic. And he's shooting a lot more. Like, Eze, we still don't really know if he has any goals in him. He got 4 in 2020. I feel like a couple were free kicks and stuff like that. And like,
he shoots from distance. That's the thing.
So I'm a little worried on that front. But Harley Boys, Colin, Hemdog, all asking if it's Rodrigo at time. Like, obviously, it's not a straight swap from Bailey. You need to fucking like downgrade Robbo or something to get there. But yeah, I'm fucking really high on the Rodrigo pick.
I'm still like I think this is just fool's gold.
Oh wow! Okay, we're way different on Rodrigo.
Yeah, I'm really not into Rodrigo at all.
Yeah, I mean, I was into him pre-game week 1. Obviously, I didn't start with him because that's what I do here. But he scores the goals. Kind of a freakish goal against Wolves, and like it went through Saw's hands. Basically, it was like a De Gea moment, but I don't know the extent of the Bamford injury. Marsh said it's like not too bad. Like, we'll see. But when Bamford went off, he just played striker and everything. All of his numbers just popped. Like, he just went from, 3 touches in the box against Wolves to 8 touches in the box against Southampton. Like, all the key passes, all the passes into the box, just doing all the shit that a striker would do. And, if he keeps doing that, the way that Leeds play, they're generating a lot of attack. Obviously, their home Chelsea is going to be tough, but they're generating a ton of attack for their prices, their relative prices. I still think at 6-1, he's just going to keep being good. So I am still high on that pick.
All right.
But there's not many others. I mean, I'm so fucking over the moon that I had the mill in the bank to get to Martinelli from Bailey.
Yeah, that was huge.
That was ridiculously huge because I would just be shitting it right now and hating my life if I didn't have that. Okay, dude. I don't even know how long we're going because we're using this different thing. And
we're at like high 50s.
High 50s. Not bad. Not bad. You ready to jump to other questions?
Yeah, let's hear the rapid fires.
Let's do it. Ken Dawson, who do we bring in for the fraud dean? Any observations about defenses stronger than expected? TCAP also looking to offload Dean. He said, do you go Perisic as he's broken in now? Or should I be looking at Cucurella? Blah, 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 all the other guys. So,
yeah, what about, we didn't mention Perisic. I mean, are you buying here because, we're expecting him to start after playing 10 minutes?
It's so hard. It was Side, C-Tank, and Snet. We're also wondering what the fuck to do with Perisic. He plays 12 minutes, gets an assist, 3 corners in 12 minutes. I mean, it's
a problem.
If I owned him, I think I would 100% hold, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest issue is, Wolves, you feel better about him starting that game than we did against Chelsea. He could still not start. We wouldn't be surprised, but they have 3 games in a week after that. You know?
Right.
So, I mean, your best case scenario is he starts 2. So, your best case scenario for him is he starts 3 of the next 4. Worst case, he starts 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I mean, we just don't know the extent of his fitness. If he's being withheld to only go 10 minutes,
12
it's presumably not
shit,
good.
Yeah.
Right?
When they need a goal too.
When they need a goal, and it's fucking whatever. It's 10 minutes. That's it. So, it's just concerning.
It would be a very, very high risk transfer in right now.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
But the reward, his ceiling is also astronomically high, right? Because if he does start that best case of 3 out of the next 4, it doesn't really even matter which 3 because they're all fucking good.
They're all good. Yeah,
he has 15-point ceiling or more in all of those. He has goal, assist, clean potential in all of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I would hold if I owned. But am I transferring him in? I mean, are you looking at bringing him in?
I'm like.
It's fucked up.
Place.
Yeah, because my game week 1 thoughts were he's my number 1 priority for game week 3
for trips. That was the placeholder for Perisic. Perisic
Dean for me. Yeah,
but I mean, I think with you look at Cucurella, these other options that are emerging. I don't know how
nailed. Great.
Yeah, I mean the lack of nailedness is a big issue. Especially when it's a few games in a week and shit like that. When we don't, it's not even that he's not nailed. He's not. We don't know if he's not even fit. He's
not even fit.
If he was fit, then we would have a better idea of what's going to happen. But it's the combination of those 2 factors, which is what does the fitness look like? Is it it's Wednesday, August 17th. Perisic is fit now. Then what? We're not going to know. We're not going to know, right? We're just not going to know. And he's going to start one of these next couple games and play, 70 minutes, 62 minute, whatever, and look great because he's an incredible player. But when do we put him in our teams? I don't know. I mean, we're going to get this either terribly wrong or brilliantly right, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you hold if you own. And for us who don't own, probably don't transfer it. I mean, for me, I have nothing in the bank. So for me, it's not really even an option. I'm not going to hit him in. I'm not that crazy. But for you, you have Trips who has City and Liverpool 2 out of the next 3. You have a fucking bajillion dollars in the bank. It's definitely worth considering, but it's fucking tough.
It's worth considering, but then it's why would I pick him over Cucurella?
I just don't think there's enough there to pick him over Cucurella. I think I'm with you.
Because what you're doing is, you're risking disaster. All of these little micro decisions add up and become calamitous very quickly.
Yes. Yeah.
It doesn't take much. It takes 1 or 2 injuries elsewhere, and then also I have this player who might play 10 minutes a game.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're well, I have to wildcard now.
Yeah. Right.
But if you have if you get Cucurella, it's he's just fucking gonna play whenever all the games, whatever. Don't have to think about it. Good pick. No, he's not gonna have 20 pointers or 15 pointers like Perisic might. But that the way it looks, in the landscape is different.
The hostage holding potential is off the charts.
Oh yeah.
Because he just subs on, plays 32 and hits the post. Okay, what do you do now? What do you do in game week 4?
I mean, he just played 10 minutes and got 4 points. I mean, he has way more points than Robbo, and he's played 30 minutes.
Yeah, total.
On the season.
Yeah.
So, he's got that.
Speaking of trips, RB and Muchizi asking what to do with trips. What do we do with trips? If we should be moving, who do we jump to? Simple Mug said, can we have some scolding of all the degenerates talking of selling trips? So Mug is not happy with that.
Yeah. What are you looking at with trips?
I'm 100% holding. I mean, I have fucking Dean, but I also have Pereira. And I think Pereira, like he said, it wasn't like anything serious. He still played the majority of the game, whatever this knock is. So I still think he'll probably start with a week off.
He was really bad. Wolves game.
Fulham suck. I mean, let's not pretend that they're a good team who, because they drew against Liverpool, like they got fucking destroyed by Wolves. But, he still created some chances off set pieces and is still really far attacking and still got 3 points, so like that's fine. If you offered me 3 points right now, just to sub in for trips, I would 1,000,000% take that.
Yeah. I think there are a few things. The main thing is, right, you're looking at playing Holgbaum for 2 of the next 3, which are admittedly, fine home fixtures, Brentham and Brighton. But you also have to, and you're accepting, 2 points, 3 points, 5 points in those two. So that's what you're happy with that,
something
right?
Something like that, yeah.
Whatever. But it's also like, what is that also alongside the cost of, is Trips even better than Cucurella? Probably not, right? So you're holding a worse pick with 2 very soon games that you're benching him for a DM or not a DM, but someone who you don't expect to return.
A 4-5,
versus getting someone like a Cucurella or getting someone like Walker or Ake, right? Where it's like, no, they're just going to get points.
Yeah.
So when I look at it in that way, it makes it feel like it's just a lot worse to hold. But teams dependent. You have Dean. That's not even close, right? Because you start trips the next game week, and are you taking a hit for 2 start? With this and that. It's like probably not. It doesn't make sense. You want to at least maybe try and get rid of him when it makes more economical sense for your team to not hit him out or something like that.
Exactly.
But there are just so many other good picks that Tripp suddenly is falling down in the pecking order, even though he does. He's very influential and creative and stuff. He has the set pieces, but. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's tough. I think it's really tough.
Yeah, I still again, they got fucking dominated by Brighton. That should not go amiss that they were so lucky to not concede. They shouldn't have kept it clean. At least 2 goals without Pope heroics and lucky random shit. But alongside that, as you mentioned, I mean, bonus point, God, trips, creating chances, all the set pieces. I still think he's a really, really fucking good pick at 5. Yeah. And the other, at Wolves, Home Palace, and 4 and 6, I'm like, 10-point potential. That's just always what he has is or even more if he gets an assist and a clean, because then he'll definitely be on max bones. So I still just think he's incredible, but I totally get people getting rid if you're in there. If they're in a situation more like yours, where it's not starting this guy makes your 11 so much worse. Where I feel like Pereira, again, it's averaging it out, right? If I really expect Trips to be getting 7 to 10 pointers in, decent fixtures, which I do, and so far he's 2 7-pointers, then if you average that out over 4 game weeks with the 5 from Pereira, it's pretty good. But if he doesn't get the cleans at Wolves and Home Palace, then it was a nightmare decision.
Huge
and
problem.
I just got, fucking 8 points in 4 game weeks from that spot.
Yeah.
So it is pretty risky.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah, I mean, Pereira, I expect 2 to 3 points, but he could also get an assist at any point. So you just gotta pray that he does a Boyd.
You do it when he's in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I was really concerned about how he looked against Wolves. He was nowhere near anything good ever at all, period. He looked so much better against Liverpool. I just, I outside of a corner assist, it's hard to see him getting points. And, he's just someone you really don't want to actually start, if he comes in off the bench, he's your first bench, fine. He's playing, is whatever, he's not an actual DM. But if you're actually putting him in your team to start him, it's that's, I think, really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I could totally see that. And time will tell, I guess, and watch him not even fucking start. This knock is worse than we thought it was. And Marco Silva just fucks us. But I mean, I'm looking at my team. It's so
what are you going to do?
What am I going to do? I mean, I have Dean at Palace, which is obviously a better fixture than home City. But after what he's done to me, I don't know if I can really stomach just running Dean out there again.
Yeah.
And maybe I should.
I think that's one where you're just like, I obviously don't want Dean medium term, and I might want trips.
Yeah. Like Dean,
and just that one fixture
startable from 4 through 7. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I think maybe we had like one time we didn't score at Sellers last week. That's a really bad fixture.
Yeah. I mean, I do think Palace are light on goals, I have to say.
No, but I agree with that. But it's still like we usually don't get shut out at home.
And Villa
with Vieira.
And Villa mess.
I mean, Diego Carlos is done for the season or whatever. So they're back to, he ruptured his Achilles.
Oh my God, I totally missed that.
Yeah, he's done.
Shit.
He's done for the year.
Mings and Konza, baby, we're running it back.
So I mean, they're running that back. It's all sorts there, but yeah, I think trips like you still want to not get too blunt because, I mean, realistically, starting Dean at Palace versus Holgbaum, like that's fucking same shit, same shit. So you want to get rid of the player you don't want.
Yeah, the difference between is like Dean can go to Cucurella, Holgbaum, I can get fucking Holgbaum, worse Holgbaum.
Yeah.
By the way, we call Andreas Pereira Holgbaum for those who can't follow along at home. Turn to page 62 if you're following along at home on the nickname chart. Doyle said, who's the best 8 million mid now? We kind of fucking talked about all these guys. The best 8 million mid's Martinelli. Skim said, is Neko a potential 11th guy? Nico. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. I still don't think so. I mean, I don't.
He was so good though.
Yeah, but
he really turned my head.
But like, what's happening? Like the team should have conceded 3 or 4. Like, so you're automatically starting him at 1 point because they're going to concede 2, right?
In almost every game. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the way they play, the amount of space that was afforded to West, it's insane. I mean, if they play that way, even against bottom half set, they're not going to keep clean sheets, And they played the way that they put the blueprint down for how they were going to play at Newcastle, and they similarly were just getting fucking fucked. I mean, it was just one wave after another. Yeah. And Newcastle, right? I mean, they're not the most prolific goal scoring team. It's just home or away. I don't see where the clean sheets are coming. Like they're obviously not going to be 0, but it's going to be in like the 6 region, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is, go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, the thing that has changed for me most between last week and this week is that I kind of think the same is true of Patterson and Everton.
Oh, wow. It's like, I don't think
even though they're playing Burnley style and whatever, they're so fucking bad. Like, I don't think it matters that they park a double decker. Dyche is actually a really good manager. It's not as easy as just like, we play like Dyche and then you automatically keep like 12 cleans. They're fucking awful, dude. I'm just like, it might end up that for the first time in FPL history, both 4-0s are bad.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I still think, if Nico keeps 6 cleans and gets 6 attacking returns, I mean, that's still like fine. I mean, you're looking at still, a good number, but the issue is he's not getting like that 2 minutes or 2 points per game. Like he's going to be getting 1 and sometimes 0. Yep. He's going to get some of his cards. So like all those little things really do add up a lot when you look at it over the course of the season. But I don't know. I mean, I think Patterson, I also think like it's very identifiable when the cleans are going to come for Everton. Like they're going to be home bankers. And with NFO, I have no idea. They could keep a clean like at Brentham. I would be like, oh yeah, I'm not that surprised. But if I see that fixture, I'm not going to start Nico. I'm like, oh, that's not that good. But like if they're playing home Fulham, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to start with they could get fucking 3. But with Everton, it's like they're doing this thing all the time. So home bottom 6 teams, like those are the ones I want to start or whatever. And I feel like I like that a little bit better too.
Yeah, Patterson probably better rotational. But Nico, I'd feel better if he's really my 11th guy and I'm starting one of them every week. I'd rather it be Nico because
I agree with that.
Like when we're looking at someone who's taking like 6 corners in against West Ham, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna just get fucking points and getting big chances in the box and stuff.
I agree with that. Yeah. I still think they're both good though. Like if you want to have a 4 million defender, I think they're both good. I mean, I think it's fine.
Yeah. Again, said it every episode since preseason episode 1.
Yeah.
There's just more good picks than I've ever remembered in the game right now.
Yeah, and that's why it's like getting those fringe picks right, or like those are the differences. You know, I mean, it's tough.
I mean, people got 7 pointers from Nico this week. Like that's you fucking flew if you got that in your team. Yeah, as long as you had all the other like good picks.
Obvious picks, right?
Yeah. TLF said Brighton's run looks decent from game week 4. Are you interested in any other guys? Veltmania, Tross, Grob, March. Dunk should be on this list.
That's what I was just going to ask. Is I mean, Dunk is the most obvious one to me, but I mean, do you think that they're going to be keeping some cleans at West Ham, home Leeds, at Fulham, home Leicester, at Bournemouth, home Palace? Are there cleans there?
Yeah, I don't think they're like they're not a normal mid to lower mid table team. Like they dominate in the way that like the top 6 teams do in games where you don't expect it, right? It's like on paper at West Ham's a really bad clean sheet fixture, but I can also just see Brighton having like 60% of the ball and West Ham just can't get anything going all game. Yeah. So like, I just think they're very reliable. And like, I mean, I'm a huge Potter fan. Everyone who listens to this pod knows this. Like they're just so well coached. Like
you're a pothead.
Yeah, I am a pothead. Always been one. It's like Basuma out, like Cucurella out. Like they don't miss a fucking beat, dude. It just does not matter. He should be managing a bit bigger, better team by now, but he's not. So we have Brighton, and I think that like the fixtures almost don't matter. They play better against the better teams. They sometimes play really badly against the bad teams. They'll get cleans, and Dunk will get goals. I think they're good. I like Grob more than you.
Yeah.
He's a fine pick at worst. He's a fine pick. If he's a good pick or not, it's hard to say.
I still just worry about like Potter's rotation. Yeah. Like definitely. They still have like Alzate is just like not playing, like or like Mwepu or whatever, like McAllister. Yeah. I mean, he could just do any fucking thing. He can
Undav.
Yeah, I mean, he can also. They just bought fucking what's his name, the guy from Sevilla or whatever. What's his a funny name? Say. The left back. They got the Cucurella replacement. So I mean, if he's going to jam him at left wing back, he pulls Tross back and like all of a sudden like that spot's gone. I mean, that's the thing that just concerns me. I'm still like, I don't want to sweat team sheets, like period. And like I'm still going to be sweating a team sheet. Maybe not game week 3 or game week 4, but like the window's going to shut in a couple of weeks. And is Grob? I want to just minimize those picks. Yeah. That you get Perisic, you've Grob, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, I have to make 8 changes and I'm wildcarding. Like I want to like Bailey to Grob proactively rather than like out of reaction to my team malfunctioning. Yeah, like Bailey to Grob sounds pretty good right now. It might just be not even an upgrade in 2 weeks. Yeah, you're trading one issue for another issue. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you there. Then one of the things you said in the postmortem last season that really stuck with me was like, we always plan for the best in FPL, whereas we should probably plan for the worst. And like, are you like definitely putting out your fire by like going Bailey to Grob? Yeah. A Brighton like not nailed mid. Yeah, versus like we're talking about like Dunk is like you're never going to be upset having Dunk in your team. Never. Like you'll be happy to start him in these games. Like, yeah, sure, they play City or something. You don't want to start him there, but you just start him in the games and sometimes he'll score a goal or two. And, so yeah, I think that is important to consider. And their midfield's always going to be concerning to me just because they have so many guys and he switches them all so often, Yeah, I'm with you. And it's the same thing you mentioned with Perisic, right? Everyone... They have the midweek games. Game week 5 is just a midweek. The game week 4 starts on Saturday the 27th, and game week 5 starts on Tuesday the 30th. Yeah. So, like, again, rotation, teams that rotate. Like, Dunk's starting all those games. Don't know about the rest of the team. Yep. Warren said, the Darwin red was a fluke, but was it a useful reminder that you never have to be the first on a guy? How do you evaluate when the train is leaving the station, Martinelli this week, versus waiting to be sure it's time to hop on? I mean, this is fucking a headbutt red card doesn't tell us anything. It tells us he's a kid and doesn't know what's up with fucking the dark artistry.
That's not the question, though.
Well, what's the question?
The question's when, like, we were right to not panic buy Darwin this week, even though we both thought he'd probably be in our wildcard team, or he's probably a good pick this week, because we just let other people take the risk and then jump on if it does end up being good, versus like Martinelli, we were both like, this is already a fucking amazing pick that we should have in our team, and we're getting it. That's what he's saying. Like, what's the difference between jumping on too soon or jumping on too late, or
Well, yeah, I guess I don't think you were wrong to do that with Darwin, though. I think to us it was more of like, what are you doing to do it? Like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm getting rid of this. We all had Vardy and he got injured. It's like, then you just fucking do that,
Yeah, yeah.
The way to get Darwin was an insane thing of removing really good assets, taking hits, like getting this unproven asset after he had 30 good minutes, right? But he still like played well. Like he had some chances. He was still good. He was still, he started. You can't adjudicate for a red card. But with Martinelli, though, it's a much more, I think we have such a large body of work of him, working hard, playing well, scoring goals, assists, like over a longer span in their best 11, no questions about minutes, so all of those things contribute, right, to just he's a really good pick and he's so fucking cheap.
Yep.
And it was really easy for those of us that didn't have him to get him because we all have mid-price midfielders who are not firing. So, I think those are the kind of things, but I still believe that not being first to the thing is fine, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think it's right.
Darwin scored 13 points. He braced today, right? 30.
We just get him.
We're doing the things. We're taking the hits. We're going to get him in.
Right. And then the other side of the coin is Bob starts again. Jota's surprise fit. Whatever the fuck. A winger comes in and plays there, and Darwin doesn't start. We obviously don't get him, and no harm. So.
And that's also right. What is the fail case with Darwin versus what is the fail case with Martinelli? It's hard to find it with Martinelli.
Yeah.
It's really easy to find it with Darwin.
Yeah.
And forget about the red card. Like, just the other players are fit faster than we thought because the managers lied.
Or,
like, Jota's back and Bob's back. He's immediately like, holy shit, I have no idea when he's going to play.
Yeah. And the other Liverpool picks are so good. Yeah. And we know they're good and they're already in our team. So it's like, yeah, that's a good one. Another macro question from Viking. There's only 2 left. He said, bit of a macro one. How should we assess the magnitude of problems in our teams? Let's say you have 2 starters, a 5-0 mid not starting, but also a 7-0 forward not performing. My question is kind of how do we evaluate the price, minutes, injuries, form, etc. when deciding which assets to sell? I think it's sort of an interesting question that we never really talked about.
Really interesting question.
Yeah, it's a really hard one too.
Well, it's just difficult, I think, out of context to make like heuristics about this. But I think all of the things that he mentioned are the things to consider, right? Price point, how bad is not performing? Like, is it not performing because your player you thought was going to be a cam is a DM, or is it not performing because it's like Pookie blank for 5 weeks?
Or is it not performing like they're not even a starter?
Yeah, because they're not on the field. You can't perform from the bench.
That's really bad. Like, it's almost like a how bad is it like tier ranking.
Yeah,
and then you act on the one who's the worst out of those. If they're exactly the same in that imaginary world, I don't really know. I think you have to figure out which players you want to target to bring in, right? So in that example, it's a 5-0 mid, 7-0 forward. There's no fucking like 5-0 mid or 4-5 mid that you want starting every week. So, you're
going from like a 1 pointer to a 2 3s to 0, whatever.
So it's worthless. It doesn't even make your team better. So I'd prioritize the forward because you could get someone who's actually nailed and on pens.
Or you just hold brush.
You just hold brush. Yeah, it's a hard one to answer. Like there's always context. Like there's always, so I don't know.
But no, it's all of that. I think it's just all of it.
Yeah, and then FPL Mad, last question. He said, is it worth keeping Kane now that he got off the mark and he has juicy fixtures next, or is there better value elsewhere? I already have Jesus and Holland, so I assume he's on, threemium.
Jesus, Holland, Kane, Mo. That's not possible. So he doesn't have Mo?
I guess.
I'm getting deja vu right now. Have we had this conversation?
Yeah, I don't know his fucking team. Okay. But, I mean, bottom line, yeah, Spurs have good fixtures, so Kane and Son are probably going to score points. Like, I don't know what else to say. All right, that's it, dude. Holy shit, that was big time.
Can we do a few minutes on my team? Because I need to think about this before Thursday, and I'm like really confused.
Yeah, let's go to our teams. Let me pull your team up. Boom. So what are you looking at here?
So, I mean, I have 2 million in the bank, and I mean, basically I'm like trying to decide like, what do I want to do with Neto? What do I want to do with trips? And like, is Robbo a cash cow to like really get a really good asset, like a premium pick? Like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know how aggressive, like I would be very fine to take a hit this week.
You have one free, right? Yeah, because you did.
Yeah, I have one free. I have 2 million. So like, I could just do like Neto to Gundo, keep whatever the fuck, start Pereira, bench trips, hide trips, whatever. I could just do trips to Cucurella, start Neto.
Yeah.
Keep it. I mean, I could get Neto to Raz if I got rid of Robertson. And I could do Archer to basically anyone if I downgraded Robertson.
How much money would you have for the defender spot? I'm just curious if you went Neto to Raz and Robbo out.
It would 4-5.
Oh, okay.
So it'd have to be Dunker or one of the Arsenal guys, probably.
I mean, I think something like that is probably the worst option because then like you're holding trips, you have to start Pereira. It's like, and you have to start the 4-5 every week, and you're taking a hit.
Yeah.
Although, like Saliba / White starting every week is totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, or Donk, I guess.
Or Donk. But Arsenal, I mean, with their fixtures just seems so fucking good. Man, it is really hard. I mean, I'm not that dissimilar in terms of like which way do I go. I just don't have the money in the bank, so I'm a lot less flexible, which makes it like weirdly much harder for you, I think.
Yeah. Well, I have to make a decision. You have an easier decision.
Yeah.
It's just Dean to a better player.
Yeah, Dean to Cucurella probably is what I'll do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just got to be wary of the price rises, I guess. Yeah. But I mean, I'm tempted to say you just do the same.
Trips to Cucurella and just leave the 2 million in my bank just rotting while I get no points from my goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can handle that.
Is Gundo that much of an upgrade over Neto?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Gundo that I'm so concerned about is just, I don't know when he's going to play, when he's in a sub.
How many blanks in a row until Gundo is just a massive problem that you need to get rid of also? Right.
Gundo is
starts
a potential
2 out of
huge
3 and blanks the 2, and then you're just like, fuck, I have Gundo.
Yeah. I mean, he's a huge potential problem also where it's like, if I'm going to be putting my money in that spot, I have nowhere to go from there, really.
Yeah, which is why, so like, let's just get rid of that, I think. And neither of us like really any of the mids between like, 8 million and Neto. So I think just like pumping the 2 mil into Neto doesn't really get you anywhere unless you make it a double move with a hit, right?
Yeah.
And the double move with the hit, the only mids that we both kind of liked were like Raz, Saka,
Foden.
I mean, like Diaz, because you'd be hitting Robbo out, I guess, should be on there.
Or Matt. Yeah, I mean, well, I could also do trips to a 4-5. Yeah, I was looking at Wolf. I could do trips to a 4-5 and get Neto up to an 8.
Yeah, that might be better.
I mean, I guess it's just like how badly do I want to hold on to Robbo?
And how good do you think Neto is? Because I still think holding him is good, but is it worth it good, or is it just good, patience good? You know what I mean?
The thing with my team why I think it's really bad is I have nothing to do with my money. Like, what am I can't get like another 7 million defender for trips. Like, there aren't any. So like, I have this 2 million in my bank. Yeah. And I'm holding this like kind of bad, like good in air quotes value pick in Neto, but bad in like I could be getting like a really good pick there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the pick, but I totally understand what you're saying. Like putting the 2 mil in attack seems very obvious and good. And I think the guy that we both kind of unanimously liked on this pod,
I kind of want
Archer
Raz.
to Toney.
I kind of want to get Raz.
Yeah, I think Toney and Raz were the two guys that like we both kind of came to the same conclusion of like really good time to get them. Like, so if you went Archer to Toney, you know, with a hit, you know, could you do? No, you can't do trips to 4-5 and Archer to Toney, right? You'd be playing one short.
Because he just rose, right?
He rose, yeah. So you'd probably have to do Robbo out.
I don't want to get Toney though.
Then don't fucking get Toney.
No, I don't want to do that. I think I need to figure out. I think the two best things I have options wise is trips out for a 4-5 to get an 8 million, or Robbo out for a 4-5 to get Raz.
Which eight do you think you'd get? Just curious.
I don't know.
Just right now, your gut would be which one?
Probably Foden.
Yeah. I mean, I think I like that best of the options presented to me. We both agree that Robbo's still going to be a good pick.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just the truth.
It just leaves me, it just leaves me a little bit fucked for a second with trips, you know, where I have to start Pereira. But I mean, that might not be that bad. But I mean, I still have, I'm not going to be able to do trips to Cucurella or anything because he's in a rise. So that's like frustrating too, you know?
Right. Yeah, I guess you have to really think about the trips Pereira rotation and how comfortable you are or not comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Because that will tell you what you need to do. It seems like, based on what you were saying, you really don't like it.
No, I don't like it. I do not like that at all. I think that's not going to get me good points for the next few game weeks.
Yeah, so I think trips and Neto to an 8 million mid and a 4-5 sounds like the best to me. Still.
And then I still stay with all my other shit.
Yeah.
And I just
every other pick you have is fucking good.
Yeah.
I think that's like clearly the best one.
So what the other option too is, I mean, I could get like Wilf, you know, Wilf is fine. And I could still do trips to, you know, anyone. I could even just do that hit and not downgrade trips.
Yeah.
All
but
right,
Wilf compared to the 8 mil, I think is still a significant downgrade.
Really? To Foden, you think it's that much of a difference?
I do, yeah. I mean, obviously he scored the open play goal today, but I think the majority of his goals are still going to be pens.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is, I think we're good on this for now.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, it's good.
We'll talk
and
about
then
it
what cap are you on right now?
I'm on Mo.
Yeah, I'm on Mo too.
Yeah. Do you think there's a, little Jesus shout?
Yeah, I mean, that was Nolan Bennett's question. Jesus for captain this week. I mean, it's certainly going to be my vice.
Yeah.
But it's like we're making a bet on like how good or bad or stupid is Ten Hag. Don't know yet. Actually, just don't know yet.
I'm willing to bet my captaincy to find out.
Yeah, because I think back to the 5-0 Liverpool over United game where we didn't cap Mo. I gave Ole too much credit.
Yeah.
I was like, no, he's going to park. He's not going to fucking do whatever the fuck they're doing. Like, they'll just get fucking destroyed. He can't do that against Liverpool. And he did it. He managed to do it. And that's what happened. Like, is Ten Hag, does he have a brain? To be determined. Is he going to be like, okay, take a break from the pressing, play out the back shit because we could concede 9? Or is he just going to get sacked? Or is he just, so I don't know. But yeah, I think it's worth a cap to find out.
Yeah. But I think it is him or Jesus.
It's him or Jesus for sure.
At Newcastle is not a good attacking fixture.
That's not good. I mean, Spurs are home Wolves. Those teams that have Kane or Son, I totally reasonable. Like I totally get that. You could definitely go there. So But yeah, I'm on Mo for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for my team, I think I'll just do Dean to Cucurella. I mean, I feel like that's just a really good move.
It's so very, very, very obvious.
And then bench trips, and that's just everything kind of according to plan.
Yeah, your team's great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should I do it now? I don't know if Cucurella is close. I guess I'll figure that out later. We don't need to do that on air.
Yeah. Well, we just missed the price rises and he didn't rise, right? So
good job by me.
Let me see.
4D chess.
No, he's not even remote. He's not close to rising.
Yeah, I mean, they conceded 2, I guess. So,
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, let me slap asses. A lot of signups again. Thank you so much for signing up to the Patreon. I have to slap the asses of Halvard, Egestad, Matt, Ole Christian, Sveen, Daniel Gallagher, JD, Come On You Spurs, CT Douglas, Renz, Cameron Fell, Benedict Troy, John Orban, Dopey Sad Be Rad, Sam Wilglass, Tord Joe Ringer, Scott Hutcheby, Alexander Cook, Blake, Sean Carey, Max Tractor, Miles Robles, and Kaylon Kelly. Let's get in there. Oh man, dude, these early season pods are long.
Yeah, this is a long one.
It's
ready
long.
For bed.
Here we go, dude. Any last words?
I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow, dude. Actually see you tomorrow for the Patreon people. Check us out at FMLfield.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLfield Sports Patreon.com/FMLfield. Subscribe, rate, review.